Yo, this is crazy. So the other day I was on KEH and I was like, you know what? But what would happen if I just bought an APS-C lens and just started using that with my full frame camera? Like, how bad would this be? Let's just experiment. Like, let's just try this out for a little while. And so that's what today's vlog is gonna be. Filming on an APS-C lens. This is the 11mm 1.8. We're just gonna see what happens. We're gonna walk around with our Ulanzi stand. This is the Ulanzi TT38. And we're just gonna vibe. Yo, this is crazy. This is why you don't put APS-C lenses on a full frame camera, because literally the lens cannot cover the full frame, like it just can't. And so you get this effect. Most people probably don't want this effect, but I can think of a couple of different creative ways where this effect would actually be really cool. There is a way to bypass this. You can switch your full frame camera to just be APS-C. That's how you would bypass this. Or I think you can also get away with the dynamic active stabilization. So I'm gonna cross the street and then we're gonna try it. Okay, so here it is with active, not dynamic active, just active. And you can see we still have a little bit around the edges, but it's not like too bad. If I move the camera a bit too fast, you'll notice it cuts in a little bit, right? So, okay, interesting. Let's try dynamic active stabilization. So here we are with dynamic active stabilization. I'm not seeing any dark spots. Oh, we're cropped in because it's dynamic active stabilization. That's the whole point of it, is it crops in a little bit. So that way, as you're walking and talking with the camera, it's like kind of like a little mini gimbal inside the camera, in so few words. This could be my walk and talk vlogging setup, actually. Y'all, I completely forgot about digital zoom. So I'm sitting there having my coffee at the coffee shop, right? And then I started messing around with the settings in the camera and I completely forgot that the Sony ZVE1, most of the Sony lines, you know, they have this little digital zoom physical button that you can use to zoom in and out, right? Just by experimenting, I feel like I've stumbled upon a fun new way to just like have a lot in a tiny little lens. All right, so let's get down to some like brass tactics with this combination and the pros and cons, if you will. So this is an APS-C lens. So it's meant to be used ideally with APS-C cameras. So think the A6500, which by the way is a dope camera, but this lens would work perfectly with that camera. So it would just be a variation of as I am right now, but I would be like even more like, it'd just be even wider. Now, pairing this lens with my ZVE1, which is a full frame camera, this lens literally cannot cover the sensor. Those are the edges of the sensor that you see that are not covered by the lens. So it's creating this sort of like interesting kind of fisheye kind of situation. It's like not true fisheye, but it's like fisheye light, if you will. These are all just tools. And there's no like right or wrong way. There's just the intention that you have behind the visuals that you're creating. So there could easily be a story you're trying to tell where this makes sense to do this, and it's perfectly fine. The drawback I was thinking though was that, okay, you could actually have it cropped into where you want, by just throwing it on dynamic active stabilization, right? And just walking around and doing that, which is what I did to go to the coffee shop. And it worked. As you saw, it cropped it in, got rid of the black, and also you're on dynamic active, which is great in Sony cameras. So it's basically like a mini gimbal inside the camera. The drawback I noticed though was while I was vlogging on dynamic active stabilization, battery was draining because it is a lot of computing power to do that. This can be a viable option, but I'll probably need to bring batteries with me, like for real, for real. Instead of just bringing one battery, I'm gonna bring like 2 or 3. So now I'm not on anything. I'm just on the standard shooting mode, no active stabilization whatsoever. And I mean, as long as I'm willing to crop in at like, it's saying me, let's see how far I wanna crop into. Like, so to be safe, I'm cropped in at times 1.2, which once again, kind of brings us back to what the equivalent of this lens is with a full frame camera if you're wanting to get rid of everything, which is like, I think this would be about a 16 millimeter, 16 and a half-ish. Now, again, with the digital zoom, we can go really freaking close in. Like, yo, is this a 50? Let me go grab my 50 and see if this is the equivalent. I'll be right back, y'all. All right, so I have my Sony FX3, not to be confused with the FX30, which is APS-C. FX3 is full frame, right? Sony FX3 here. And then I have my 24 to 50 f2.8 G Master. And then also I have my 16 to 25 millimeter f2.8 as well. So I'm gonna set up my other Ulanzi stand that I have. I stay on these Ulanzi stands. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But I'm gonna set up my other Ulanzi stand literally right next to this camera, so we'll have them rolling at the same time, and we'll see. Because I actually think this lens on digital zoom goes into like, become like borderline of 50 mil. Why am I struggling right now? Hello? This is so intense. Okay. I've basically gone to about a 24 mil using a 2.5 crop, essentially using the digital zoom to replicate 24. I still think the 11 mil is a little shy of 50 millimeters. Or like that's the perception with the digital 50 millimeters. I think it's giving like 42 or something, you know, like, in my heart, it feels like 40 something, you know? Y'all are all up in my face, seeing all the pores. This is 34. God is good though, happy to be here. But this is so interesting, like with one lens and just knowing the capabilities, you can get away with a lot. I got this lens from KEH. I bought it like new used. I purposely, because I wanted to experiment with this, I purposely didn't want to buy new. For those of y'all who don't know, KEH is a camera resale and trade-in company. So I've actually been using them quite a bit, like not sponsored, but I've been using them quite a bit whenever I wanna try out something new, but I don't necessarily wanna buy brand new. So prime example of me using KEH. Peak Designs tripod, right? This thing is dope. It's carbon fiber, travel tripod. Like I still have the KEH tag on it. I was looking through KEH and saw that they had this on sale because I don't know if y'all seen, this tripod retails for like $500. So I just like hopped on KEH and kept kind of looking around, searching. Finally saw they had one on sale and I was like, oh, mine. It functions, it's fine. I don't need it to be brand new. I just need it to work. Again, this is not sponsored, but I have been using KEH like so much that I was like, you know what, let me sign up for their affiliate. So if you do decide to either sell with KEH, trade with KEH, any of the above with KEH, please use my link down below because I'll actually get a small commission at no extra cost to you. And you know, you're just kind of helping me out, helping out the channel, helping out my work. I honestly just love that I have figured this out with this camera. Like I just feel, this feels so right in my heart chakra. All right, but it is sort of killing me softly, maybe potentially loudly, that I don't have a variable ND filter for this. So we're gonna hop over to Best Buy real quick and see if we can get one. I mean, I knew the camera section in Best Buy was scam, but I didn't realize it was this scam. Like, y'all, there ain't nothing here. Oh, dang. Strike 2 on the case of finding a variable ND filter for my lens without going online. Might just have to give up and go online. Also, my tire pressure's low, so let's get home because I need to make sure that's good. Oh, that is low, ain't it? Before I bought this 2023 Honda CR-V, I drove another Honda CR-V, but it was a 2001 Honda CR-V. So going from that car to this car, the tech, even though this is like, doesn't come with too much tech technically, but I'm sitting here trying to look through these settings to kind of figure out like where it is to reset the tire pressure sensor. Where the heck is this thing, man? Oh, here we go. I think I found it. Okay, TPMS, yeah, calibration, here we go. Before I was rolling, I was sitting here for like 5 minutes looking for it. And I was like, I should film this. This is kind of sad. All right. Car is now safe to drive, which is great, especially in these Atlanta streets, because if you live here, you know, because people here drive like they have nothing to lose in life. And I got things to lose in life, so please don't. Fix my car. Shout out to my dad for teaching me the basics of car maintenance. Thanks, Dad. Love ya. So I think ultimately the thing I'm trying to say with this whole experiment is that it's just gear. Everything is just a tool for you to use and experiment with and try new stuff, you know? I think one of the main reasons I'm into the tech and like to look into the tech this way is not because I'm trying to flex on anything, but it's just that by understanding the technology, you can then know when, why, and how you're going against the grain or breaking the rule or experimenting, and you can be confident in that experiment, you know?